This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm nice, and I've seen The Banshees of Inisherin, a newish tragic comedy feature from director Martin McDonagh. Set on an island off the coast of mainland Ireland, it begins when local man Patrick finds himself ignored and distanced by longtime friend Colm with no initial explanation. Colm eventually explains that he finds Patrick dull and would rather create art for which he would be remembered after centuries of time, instead of wasting his remaining years just chatting. Patrick is still offended and, feeling alone now, tries to rekindle their friendship, but Colm makes an ultimatum that has reverberations not only between he and Patrick, but those close to them, most of all Patrick's sister Siobhan, who is undergoing a loneliness of her own. Loneliness is a pretty strong thread across the major characters, as is the stubbornness of Patrick and Colm. With these themes combined, the two are effectively caught in a classic battle between an unstoppable force and an immovable object. Or more realistically, someone who wants to be left alone and another who refuses to be alone. Both are entirely dead set on their own ideas of happiness and comfort, and their resulting clash ends up being not only disruptive to others, but self-destructive, physically and otherwise. At times making decisions completely antithetical to their personal desires and only done to spite the other. They're both blinded by a sense of pride and an inability to compromise, and it's because of this that they both suffer when different avenues of solving their issues, as superficial as they are entirely possible. Whatever the case, the two men and their ongoing squabble are portrayed spectacularly by Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, with a quiet intensity between the two that often straddles the line between a nonsensical spat and a series of poor but extreme decisions. It seems that this whole ordeal is a metaphor for the ongoing Irish Civil War happening over on the mainland, but I have no idea what the details of that are, so I can't say for sure how closely it works. Still, that war does factor into the setting and in dialogue at several points, and in a way it does work as a means of illustrating both how small Patrick and Colm's quarrel is compared to larger events, as well as a more symbolic instance of an uncertain future beyond the island that they and others have called home for all of their lives. All in all, the story is not only effective in its exploration of these sorts of conflicts and their tragic absurdity and futility, but it also touches upon the personal affairs of those who seemingly have nothing to look forward to in their lives but death, and how they go about changing that, even if it means destroying whatever connections they had. On the technical side of things, the movie is very well produced, with an eye towards emphasizing the environment and creating a sort of realism that helps to bring the story to further life. Being set in a single coastal community certainly keeps this goal up, and the resulting landscapes are a beautiful sight to behold, especially in wide shots which show the absolute scale of some cliffsides and other large tracts of land. Cinematography is excellently directed in many scenes, with the camera knowing how best to make a dramatic reveal. The rest of the film's technical elements are a bit hands-off, in the sense that they let everything being captured tell the story on its own, without any greater stylization in its presentation. To that end, the story being told here is certainly geared towards this quieter and solemn approach, letting the tension between Patrick and Colm really sink in, while also highlighting the loneliness they and others are facing while living on the island. It's no wonder that some seek greater change and others prefer familiar comforts, but the inherent contrast between the two ideas is one which cannot be reconciled without tragic sacrifices and loss. The Banshees of Inisherin, Martin McDonagh, 2022. 4.5 stars. I'd recommend giving it a watch. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. It's actually a bit interesting to see how the movie shifts from a comedic angle to something much more dramatic over time. And even then, there's still moments of absurdity that make their way through. Another highlight of the film's overall direction, I would say.